There are so many reasons why your eyes should be firmly on Cardano right now, and its maturing UTXO-based DeFi ecosystem should be high up on the list of priorities when it comes to building an understanding of where this is all heading. A major shift in the narrative is already occurring right before our eyes. This shift will soon translate into incredibly explosive growth of on-chain DeFi activity. Cardano's eutxo architecture is purpose-built to facilitate highly scalable, innovative, and secure DeFi applications. Forget move fast and break things, it's Cardano's architecture that's going to propel it beyond anything we've witnessed in crypto to date. Are you ready for an EVM UTXO DeFi flippening? If you're still throwing shade at Cardano, it's going to be max pain for you in 2025. Welcome back to Sapien, the channel for in-depth coverage, breakdowns and insights of the most disruptive technology that's challenging the economic, political and social systems of the world. Before we dive in, this video is brought to you in partnership with the Cardano Fans Stake Pool, so if you do find value in the content and want to help support this effort, please consider delegating to the Cardano Stake Pool ticker CRFA. Full details are linked in the video description. So today I wanted to do a follow-up video from last episode's deep dive into scaling Cardano and Bitcoin DeFi to provide a perspective on some of the moving parts in progress that have huge potential for this ecosystem. Let's explore why Cardano DeFi is going to explode in 2025 to understand some of the fundamentals driving this thesis. Through a combination of the incredible DApps already built in our ecosystem, the builders dedicated to continuing the delivery of open source infrastructure, the rise of Cardano Layer 2 scaling solutions promising unbounded throughput, the integration of BitcoinOS and influx of liquidity this development will no doubt produce, coupled with the foundation of Cardano's on-chain governance now taking shape. If you've been following closely, it's fair to say when all these factors align, we can expect growth and activity of epic proportions. The first major catalyst for this will no doubt be the BitcoinOS integration with Cardano that will effectively unlock $1.7 trillion worth of Bitcoin in value. In Q1 2025, the ability for Bitcoin to flow into the Cardano DApp ecosystem in a completely trustless environment, and in many cases where the user won't even know they're interacting with Cardano applications at all, has potential unlike anything we've seen before in decentralized finance. This seamless interoperability enabling a Bitcoin user to interact with UTXO-based DeFi without having to use centralized bridging presents one of the most compelling cases for Cardano ecosystem growth. With over $9 billion worth of Bitcoin already using centralized bridges in Ethereum's ecosystem, the appetite for this activity is evidently there. Now it's time for this liquidity, along with dormant Bitcoin users, to start exploring a truly decentralized ecosystem that's far more aligned technologically and in terms of cultural values. When considering the crossover between the Cardano and Bitcoin communities, the great synergy between both blockchain architectures, the fact that the BitcoinOS team and many Cardano builders are closely collaborating on making this happen, the outcome seems to be inevitable here. Charles also mentioned in a recent AMA he is hiring a dedicated person to do nothing else but make sure Cardano is the most dominant platform for Bitcoin DeFi. However, this isn't a Charles or IO leading the charge. Many builders in the Cardano ecosystem are making huge contributions toward this integration, like Fluid Tokens and Tokyo Wallet to name but a few. The BitcoinOS Cardano integration is a fast-moving development, so be sure to follow this closely. I produced a deep dive video breaking down BitcoinOS and its potential impact on both blockchains, which I've linked in the video description. But with all this potential liquidity on the horizon, how does Cardano adequately scale to service this expected influx of user activity? Layer 2 scaling solutions are emerging as the key here. In my last episode, I deep dived Midgard, an optimistic roll-up Layer 2 scaling solution that's being developed by Anastasia Labs. I urge you to go check out this video also, as what's being developed here is the industry's first trustless, permissionless and decentralized Layer 2 scaling solution. Based on the innovation of Midgard, an incredible team developing this technology, I would go as far to say that this will emerge as the gold standard for optimistic roll-ups industry-wide. All the growth that we've seen in EVM ecosystems over the past 3 years has been a consequence of Layer 2 scaling solutions. This is why Vitalik and Ethereum have focused so heavily on Layer 2s and largely aligned its roadmap to develop these type of technologies. They not only enable a highly scalable DApps ecosystem, but create extremely high revenue for the network in terms of transaction fees. But Midgard is going to be a completely different beast when compared to EVM-based Layer 2 technologies like Optimism, for example. The UTXO system is a match made in heaven for roll-ups. It allows developers to build true Layer 2 roll-ups that inherit maximal security from Cardano's Layer 1. This cannot be replicated in account-based global state systems. In Midgard, there'll be no centralized sequencers that on Ethereum enable centralized entities to reorder, prioritize, or censor transactions. This means malicious sequencers can reorder transactions in their favor to conduct sandwich attacks and extract MEV. Midgard completely eliminates this. Everything is handled in a fully decentralized way, making the system much more resistant to manipulation or censorship. This is something that will deliver great appeal to both the Bitcoin and Cardano communities. In utilizing Cardano's eutxo architecture to the fullest, Midgard enables the highly efficient processing of multiple transactions in parallel. This significantly boosts scalability by avoiding bottlenecks that come with sequential processing in other models. As a result, there's much less congestion, especially during periods of high transaction volume. Furthermore, Midgard's permissionless approach allows anyone to participate in the network without the need for a centralized intermediary. This further strengthens decentralization, removing the entry barriers that exist in the EVM world, promoting much higher participation. In terms of security, Midgard relies on trustless fraud proofs. Essentially, this means transactions are validated without needing to trust any central authority, eliminating a single point of failure, which is a common issue in other systems. Again, thanks to the UTXO architecture, fraud proofs on Cardano are way cheaper and simple to execute and enables users to identify specific invalid transactions on a granular level, which again fosters much higher decentralized participation. This low barrier to entry and permissionless environment means that only one honest party needs to exist in order for the protocol to maintain its security and function correctly. Fraud proofs for global state systems, however, like Arbitrum and Optimism, are extremely difficult to implement and very expensive and complicated to conduct on-chain that require multiple largely centralized parties to exist in order to function. Midgard's most killer feature, however, comes in the form of elastic DApps scaling, something that can't be replicated on Ethereum. Interoperability with the layer 1 becomes much easier because all data in Cardano is localized to UTXOs. This means you can move partial application states between the layer 2 and layer 1. In the case of a DEX, for example, pools with higher activity could transition seamlessly between the layer 2, while less activity pools can remain on the layer 1. This provides Cardano DApps the ability to add resources to the protocol depending on traffic loads to help cope under high congestion. This is more cost effective, enabling the system to scale resources based on traffic. It's important to mention that this is no easy feat to achieve, not even in Web 2, as Midgard is isomorphic to the Cardano layer 1, meaning that decentralized applications can seamlessly redeploy on Midgard using the exact same code and tech stack. This feature significantly reduces the burden on developers, allowing them to leverage the benefits of the layer 2 without modifying their existing codebase, tech stack, or architecture. Phil from Anastasia Labs recently reached out to the Cardano community in this post on X to rally more participation from the community to get involved in governance and advocate for Midgard or rollups in general to be included as part of the core Cardano roadmap. On Cardano, we have the superior architecture and a dev team in Anastasia Labs with the solution to facilitate the native evolution of rollups on Cardano. Again, in Charles's recent AMA, he referenced the fact that the innovation division at IO, whilst they've been doing lots of internal innovation, they're now opening up to incorporate all kinds of development from the wider community, referencing Gummyworm from SundaySwap, Midgard from Anastasia Labs, and ZK Fold. So negotiations are happening right now to understand how to get them involved in this process and accelerate what they already have to get them to market faster. So this, combined with the potential that the development of Midgard and other Cardano scaling solutions could in fact be incorporated as part of the Cardano budget, means the emergence of Cardano layer 2 scaling solutions and development of them could potentially be accelerated to coincide with the introduction of the BitcoinOS integration. Mark my words, Cardano's layer 2 game is going to take this industry by storm in 2025. Cardano has a habit of producing industry firsts. In Midgard, the theme continues here. Now, last episode I also highlighted a very important insight relating to the power of an open source DApps and smart contract ecosystem. This not only benefits users in terms of security, as open source is far more battle tested, it drives innovation as new builders can leverage from the research and development that came before to continue evolving the space with innovative decentralized applications, making the process of building on Cardano far more capital efficient and attractive. This not only attracts new builders, users, but importantly, protocol VCs to invest in an ecosystem that's flourishing with scalable DApp activity. Until now, Cardano has been missing this critical component to scale its ecosystem. There are many examples of brilliantly innovative open source dApps and smart contract infrastructure, but today I wanted to highlight one that I think will have a major impact on the growth and adoption of Cardano DeFi. Lending protocols historically play a major role in a vibrant blockchain ecosystem as a result of the utility they provide to DeFi users who can leverage the value of their assets to make a variety of lucrative DeFi plays. Cardano already has multiple lending platforms, but today I wanted to highlight one that has not only pioneered a particularly unique lending protocol, but is making huge strides in developing open source infrastructure to benefit the entire Cardano DeFi space. When we think about the influx of liquidity coming off the back of the BitcoinOS integration, it's open source development like this that's going to make hybrid Cardano and Bitcoin dApps more accessible. Lenfi, formerly AADA Finance, first introduced their peer-to-peer lending solution with their innovative NFT bond concept, where all peer-to-peer loans are secured by an NFT loan bond. This transferable NFT bond not only enhanced the security of user loans, but introduced the ability for loan ownership on Cardano to be transferred, meaning loan bonds can be sold, creating a new marketplace, providing users the ability to sell their loan position in the event they were unable to repay, to at least recover a portion of their collateral, and provide arbitrage opportunities for users to buy loan positions at a discounted rate to then pay off the loan and recover the original collateral. With the introduction of Lenfi V2, the project delivered its pooled lending product. Its permissionless protocol enables users to create unlimited lending pool pairs or participate in already established pools. Pool ownership is defined with a pool manager NFT, which again enables the transferring of pool ownership, similar to the NFT bonds, but in this instance enables users to grow a healthy lending pool and potentially sell the pool management rights, creating yet another emerging marketplace in Cardano DeFi. So that's a very quick overview of Lenfi's peer-to-peer and peer-to-pool lending models, which are both live on the Cardano mainnet, fully open source, and have been audited by Anastasia Labs and TX Pipe. The protocol currently holds over 30 million ADA in TVL and has been growing significantly in terms of user activity. But what I want to talk about today is the project's approach to open source infrastructure. In addition to the protocol smart contracts, the Lenfi dev team are responsible for the delivery and development of vital open source infrastructure that will aid the growth and adoption of Cardano DeFi. Not only can new or existing builders benefit from the core protocol open source smart contracts in fostering further innovation in the lending space, Lenfi are also providing the framework for multiple software development kits and an extremely innovative piece of tech that will enable the value locked in Cardano DeFi to actively participate in Cardano governance. This is a pretty big deal. First, Lenfi produced an automatic borrowing SDK. This has provided the Cardano ecosystem with an open source framework or toolkit that empowers users with basic programming skills to directly interact with the Lenfi protocol while bypassing the need for a centralized UI. This fosters a truly decentralized ecosystem where innovation and participation are not bottlenecked by technical barriers or centralized control points. Effectively, this SDK not only enables users to interact with the Lenfi lending pools outside of the Lenfi UI, but also enables them to be integrated throughout the Cardano ecosystem via DEXs, DEX aggregators, other lending protocols, and DeFi applications. This type of development is in line with the core principles of DeFi and blockchain technology, whereby access should be permissionless and ever more decentralized. After this initial Lenfi SDK, the team have extended upon this development with this proposal put forward in Catalyst Fund 13. Similar to the Lending Pool SDK, this comprehensive toolkit will further reduce the barrier to entry, enabling developers to simplify the creation of automated peer-to-peer borrowing transactions on the Cardano blockchain. Again, this further decentralizes the Lenfi protocol, bypasses the need for centralized UI for Cardano peer-to-peer lending, and facilitates a far more accessible environment for peer-to-peer lending activity. The development of these kind of toolkits will enable new and existing builders to continue innovating DeFi lending on Cardano, create more growth and user participation throughout the ecosystem, and contributes greatly to promoting the power of open source development. Finally, the introduction of Lenfi Voltaire, also put forward in Catalyst Fund 13. This is a real interesting piece of open source development infrastructure. Lenfi Voltaire will upgrade the protocol to support permissionless ADA delegation to DREPs via smart contracts. Currently, ADA locked-in smart contracts can't be delegated to DREPs, meaning it can't take part in Cardano governance. This upgrade, however, will allow pool managers to delegate their voting power to delegated representatives or DREPs in a permissionless manner. Pool managers through the Lenfi UI or using the SDK will have the ability to publish certificates enabling this type of delegation. This solution benefits ADA holders, pool managers, and DREPs by ensuring that ADA liquidity plays an active role in governance. This is vital for Cardano's ecosystem because it enhances governance participation levels and demonstrates how DeFi protocols can incorporate governance features, setting an example and delivering the framework for other protocols. Once complete, Lenfi will demonstrate a real-world example of over 7 million ADA being managed by independent DeFi users and delegated to DREPs. This vital open-source infrastructure will lay the pathway for more Cardano DeFi protocols, including DEXs and other lending platforms, to also enable ADA locked in their protocols to participate in governance, boost DREP delegation, and continue promoting the right culture and education of the importance of active governance participation ecosystem-wide. Think about an ecosystem where all the value locked in ADA throughout DeFi is also participating in governance. It's a thing of beauty. When I consider the crypto bull run, developments like BitcoinOS Integration, and volume of activity this is likely to produce, I can't help but come to the conclusion that Lenfi, with its decentralized, permissionless and highly accessible lending protocol, will be playing a major role in servicing both Cardano and Bitcoin's DeFi in 2025 and beyond. Lenfi is just one zoomed-in example of a Cardano project delivering the type of open-source tooling, smart contracts and development that's driving the ecosystem forwards. It's builders like this that have contributed to priming the Cardano landscape. These type of developments are occurring throughout the ecosystem, which is a huge signal for where Cardano DeFi is heading as we enter 2025 with an ever-maturing ecosystem of innovative UTXO-based decentralized applications. This leads us on to the final point that I think will have a tremendous impact on Cardano DeFi in 2025, that being the evolution of Cardano governance and the formation of the yearly budget. With Chang 2 on the horizon, where DApps will be officially turned on, the Cardano constitution being ratified on chain, and hopefully far more clarity surrounding the yearly budget all coming through before the end of the year, I think it's clear this is going to deliver an explosion of activity throughout 2025. Participation in Cardano governance is growing, with over 500 DApps registered, which are made up of experienced developers, community thought leaders and ecosystem experts. So far, over 2 billion ADA has been delegated to them. Once the Treasury budget is defined, finally, the community through their delegated representatives will now have the mechanism to access this growing Treasury, which at today's value is over $1 billion, and begin allocating resources to vital development and growth driving initiatives outside of solely the 3 founding entities to which previously all major developments were under the control of. Imagine the level of innovation that can be realized through this incredible resource and powerful governance structure that engages the masses. The key areas I see specifically for Cardano DeFi in terms of the Treasury budget will be marketing and the acceleration of the development of Cardano Layer 2 scaling solutions. In his recent AMA, Charles also mentioned once the budget is defined, he envisages a major push in marketing to showcase everything this ecosystem has to offer. When we factor in our ever-maturing ecosystem of open-source UTXO-based decentralized applications, the impending integration of BitcoinOS, the development of innovative Layer 2 scaling solutions like Midgard, combined with the power of decentralized governance that's about to tap into the collective brain of the entire Cardano community, those still fading Cardano are in for a really painful 2025. This type of structure means the possibilities in terms of supercharging Cardano DeFi is limitless, and soon to be in the control of the entire community rather than a selected few. While a lot may rest on the speed to market of Layer 2 protocols like Midgard, if this combined with the BitcoinOS integration comes through in the early part of 2025, I don't think it's far-fetched of me to predict a complete power shift from EVM-based DeFi to Cardano's eutxo. Architecturally, DeFi on Cardano is more scalable, secure, decentralized and user-centric than that in the EVM-based ecosystems. This is why I believe the UTXO-based DeFi boom will be even more aggressive than that of what we witnessed in the EVM world. 2025 is going to be the year of education, where the wider blockchain space starts to realize the true power of Cardano's research-backed and scientific approach to blockchain development, and how this has laid an incredible foundation for the most explosive and adoption-driving DeFi activity. We already have an array of innovative DeFi applications. Now it's about providing the scaling solutions and effective marketing initiatives to help fuel user activity. You may be familiar with the phrase slowly then suddenly. Well, with all that's brewing right now on Cardano, we're fast moving past the slowly phase and approaching suddenly at a rate that's going to catch many participants in this space completely off guard. For now, keep it sapient, keep it blockchain, and keep it Cardano.